Everybody, Lauren Guest here with another video because I've had so many people come to me with this question. They're wanting to quit their jobs. They're wanting to quit their jobs. So there's several different reasons that people are wanting to quit their jobs. Maybe it's they don't like their job, they don't like what's going on, they don't like the atmosphere. They have other plans of things that they would rather do with their time. They are wanting to start a business. There's so many different reasons that people are wanting to quit their jobs. Uh, they have become workaholics and they're wanting to get away from that. So there's a few different steps that we use. Three steps, pretty simple when Hayden was leaving the oil field. So I'm going to share those with you and some tips and tricks that I shared with the people who have come to me. So this video is for those who I'm going to share it with those who I've already had conversations with so they are able to have it for future reference, as well as those of you who are wanting to quit your jobs now. So the first step is to take all you can from the place that you currently are, the job that you're at now. Not talking about the stapler or the pens or the notepads. Like, I'm not talking about those things. What I'm talking about is number one, your skills. So you have had training in your area, whether it was formal training or it was just on the job, learn as you fly training. Those skills that you're learning are things that you can take into your next step in your life. The other thing is the lessons. So maybe you are frustrated with the leadership, like the leadership just flat stinks. Take note of those lessons that you're learning. Take note of why is there faulty leadership there? Because there's chances are that in your next step, you're going to be a leadership in some capacity. Maybe it's not formal leadership, but in some way, shape, or form, we all have leadership, even if you're quitting to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, I can't think of a bigger leadership job than being a mom, being a dad. So whatever it is that you're leaving to go into somewhere else, those lessons, maybe it's not the leadership, maybe there's other things that you're learning, some things that are irritating you. Maybe there's all different kinds of lessons that you can be learning in this season to take to the next. The other is your connections. You can take your connections. Those are yours. Those are yours, those connections that you're making people. Now, I'm not saying be shady and steal people's clients. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying those connections that you're building, even if you're going into a completely different market, even you don't know. Connections, the power of connections are just out of this world, really. Your connections, your network, as it grows, that is the strongest thing you have in your next season in life. So taking those connections with you. So that's the first step. Take all you can from this season that's going to help you into the next season. Step two is to have a strategy. So a little funny backstory. Several years ago, my dad gave me some relationship advice, and it was, honey, you don't need to be like a monkey, not letting go of one branch or vine and grabbing the other one before you grab the other one, which was sound relationship advice, right? Like, you need to fully cut the ties here before you go to the next. But when you are talking about your career, when you're talking about your job, you need to know what that next vine is. You need to have somehow get a grasp of that next vine before you let go of this one, right? You do need to be a monkey swinging on the vines and having a hold to that next vine first, or you are going to fall. So what does that look like? So when you go into this next step of your life, where are you going to spend your time? Okay, so you've spent whatever amount of time each day, each week, each month, year, whatever, you've spent that on this position. Are you going to another job? So seeing what that actually looks like, knowing what skills, what things you need to have to go into that next one. Maybe you're starting a business. Let me tell you, don't let go of this vine just yet. If you're starting a business, really be thinking about what you're going to spend your time on, because building a business is not build it and they will come. Now, for some exceptions there are, but those are exceptions. The majority of the time, if you're starting a business, it's going to take a while to get off the ground. Don't let go of this vine yet. Start working on those other things in the background while you're there. Maybe you're quitting to be a stay-at-home mom. There are things that you need to mentally, spiritually, physically prepare for in your mind, in your body, to do that effectively. Maybe you're retiring. Same goes there. If you're retiring, you need to know what you're going to spend that time on. It doesn't, I'm going to go out on a limb here. It does not glorify God, nor is it good for you to not have a plan in retirement. Just kicking your feet up and cruising on Netflix or Facebook, that is going to be a slow, painful death. I'm just going to say it. Knowing what you're going to do with that time, having an idea, having a strategy there. Also, how is your life going to be set up in the new? So what I mean here is maybe you're changing jobs, maybe you're starting a business, whatever it is, knowing what your life is going to look like there. So specifically, your budget. That is a huge thing. So whenever Hayden was leaving the oil field to come home, we knew our budget was going to be way different. It went from a 5-figure a month budget to a low 4-figure a month budget. But we were prepared for that. So in that season, we were paying off our debt. We were getting a savings account build up. We were working on those things before we let go of that vine to jump into the next. We were able to get all of our debt paid off and then start building some things for a business. But the pandemic hit and our savings account wasn't where we really wanted it to be. But that kind of leads me into step 3. Pray through the whole process. You're in this season right now for a reason. So whatever that reason is, it's his ways are higher than ours. His timing is better than ours. He's never late, but he's never on time either. Never early either. He's always on time. He's never late, never early. Maybe we want to rush him, but it doesn't always happen. And sometimes he pushes us out and here we are. Anyways, so praying through that process, knowing that you're there, you are where you're at, you're in your position for a reason. It gives you a whole new perspective as you go into your job each day. Asking God, open my eyes to see you here in this season. Open my heart to receive you in this season. Open my eyes to hear, or ears to hear you. Open my ears to hear you in this season. What is it that I need to be doing here? Don't underestimate the power of the pause. And what I mean here is when you're pausing, you're praying, you're listening. God's ways are so much higher than ours, and they don't always make sense. In fact, when God tells you to do something, it usually doesn't make sense. In recent meditations and listening to God, he has laid things on my heart that absolutely don't make sense. And I could never do or come up with on my own. And so following him, trusting him, leaning on him through that process is what really is beneficial. So just to recap here, if you're wanting to quit your job, first, you want to take all that you can from where you're at, learn all the lessons you can, get all the skills you can acquire, make all the connections, build that network while you're there. 2, have a strategy. Know what your life is going to look like in that next, like you're a monkey, know before you let go of this vine, what that next vine looks like. Get a good solid grip on it before you let go. And 3, praying through the whole process. So hopefully that is helpful for you guys. In the conversations I've had, it's been super fruitful. So let me know what y'all think in the comments and subscribe.